Shalom, brothers and sisters. I absolutely love it when these news headlines literally write themselves prophetically, and it's crazy, and it shows you the madness of the world around you, the times we're living in, and how everything is going down in front of our faces. Now, what I want to talk to you about now is the whole situation between Turkey and the Kurdish people and the battle and attacks and strikes going on. So there's two articles we'll touch on. The first one is Kurdish leader in Syria calls for diplomatic solutions to conflict with Turkey. The leader of the US-backed Kurdish forces in northeast Syria, in an interview with the Associated Press, called for an international mediator to continue pushing for diplomatic solutions to the complex web of conflict in the Middle Eastern territory, including the escalating Turkish bombardment of Kurdish areas. Have you heard about that? No, because it's not the IDF, it's not the Jews, and it's not Hamas or Hezbollah. Turkey has intensified its airstrikes in northern Iraq and northeastern Syria following an October 23 attack on defense companies in Ankara that killed 5 people and wounded more than 20. Turkish airstrikes targeted dozens of sites believed to be linked to or affiliated with the Kurdish Workers' Party, PKK, which claimed responsibility for the attack. Mazloum Abdi, commander-in-chief of the Syrian Democratic Forces, SDF, said the attack in Ankara served as an excuse for a long-planned Turkish operation in Syria. The Turks claim these attacks are a response to the recent activity in Ankara. That is not the reason, because the type and continuity of the attacks now entering their 6th day show this is not a mere response. The Ankara incident was an excuse. He alleged the Turkish strikes, which have damaged electricity, oil facilities, and bakeries, have had severe consequences for civilians and are part of a broader strategy by Turkey to force a democratic shift by pushing Kurdish residents out of the area. The strikes have killed 18 people, mostly civilians, injured more than 60. Abdi said in some cases Turkish strikes have targeted emergency teams responding to the initial strike. Now, everybody's screaming about Israel. Everybody keeps blaming Israel for doing exactly these things, which they're not, and they're trying to minimize casualties. Turkey's not. Turkey's outright attacking bakeries. What? Was their bread not Islamic enough? They're directly targeting civilians. They're targeting emergency services, aiding civilians. Is anyone screaming about that? No. Is there a UN Security Council emergency meeting being called for this? No. It's Turkey. They're part of NATO. They're not Jewish. They're not part of Israel. No problem. Bomb whoever you want. That's the situation. Sounds terrible, but it's truth. The second article is Turkey's viewpoint on this. Now listen to this. And just remove the name Turkey and put Israel into it, and then the world would be freaking out if I was reading this about Israel, but it's not. Turkey to pursue campaign against Kurdish group in Iraq and Syria. Turkey will continue its military operations in northern Iraq and Syria against Kurdish PKK rebels to eliminate their threat. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan promised this on Tuesday. So Erdogan can promise to eliminate who he sees as terrorists completely. No problem. No outcry internationally. No UN Security Council meetings called. Nothing. Netanyahu says he's going to eliminate the threat to civilians from Hamas and Hezbollah. International outcry, rallies, university marches, chaos, The Hague. Everybody gets involved. Emergency meetings, the UN, madness, restrictions of arms. We are preventing the terrorists who live on our borders from breathing, said Erdogan. Can you imagine if that came out of Netanyahu's mouth right now, how the world would be reacting? But he has said this, Erdogan, no one's got a problem with it. We're going to prevent them from breathing. Until the establishment of a country and a region without terror, we will continue this combat in several dimensions, the president insisted as he cited the ongoing operations. Israel's in a similar situation. They're saying the same thing. They're saying we're going to eliminate this threat to our civilians. We cannot have terror amongst us or in our region. We are going to combat this in several ways. The world's freaking out. Erdogan is saying exactly the same thing while he's blaming Israel for genocidal intent and for what they're doing. But he's doing even worse. Where we detect a threat to our country, Erdogan says, both within and outside our borders, nobody can prevent us from eliminating it, Erdogan continued in his address to mark the 101st anniversary of the Turkish Republic, saying he would stop at nothing to do so and end terrorism. But Israel, wanting to end terrorism in Israel and striking at countries that are directly attacking them with terror, like Iran outside their borders, the whole world's up in arms. The Arab world has special meetings planned for 11/11, and Israel is attacked as an occupying force, causing chaos and destabilizing the region. No one's talking about Erdogan destabilizing the region. No one's talking about the fact that he says he will attack anywhere he wants and no one will prevent him or stop him. Because he's right, no one will. Everyone's focused on Israel. Do you see the imbalance here? We are now able to develop the weapons we need in the fight against terror, and we do not require anyone's permission, Erdogan added. But Israel should seek permission. They should seek permission on what they want to bomb, when they want to bomb it, where they want to bomb it, or they'll lose their friends and their weaponries and things that they need to supply to continue. Huh? The head of state said that Turkey, now this is hilarious, was in the process of equipping itself with an Iron Dome. Guess who just loves Israel without directly saying it? Anti-aircraft defense system similar to the one that Israel has, but made of steel. He's emulating Israel, but publicly hating Israel's guts and saying everything bad about Israel. But at the same time, he's doing worse, and he wants an Iron Dome. Why even call it an Iron Dome if they're your sworn enemies and you hate them? Call it a ping pong ball or whatever you want to call it. But why imitate the Jews with their defensive capability? Because you know it works for them. But guess what? It's not the Iron Dome, Erdogan. It is God's dome, his hand of protection resting on the nation of Israel. No one will wipe them out from the river to the sea. And again, these two articles, beautiful examples of how the world is twisted. The Bible prophetically speaks about Jerusalem will become a stumbling block for all nations. All nations will come against Israel, and it will be a stumbling block for them. And there it is. Here's Turkey doing the same and worse. Not warning civilians, not going out of their way to avoid civilian deaths, but outright doing all this chaos and then still wanting to employ an Iron Dome and saying no one will stop them, they'll do what they want, so help me. Is the world up in arms about it? No. Is everybody screaming about it? No. It's not Israel. There's no prophecy in the Bible about the whole world will come together against Turkey. No. Israel. It's all happening right in front of your faces. God is in control of everything. Everything. He has seen the end from the beginning. He knows all things. He is almighty. My faith rests in him alone. Shalom.